Welcome to the Autism Handbook. I'm your host, Dr. Selena Justice. I'm a licensed psychologist who specializes in diagnosing and treating high-masking autistic adults, which is a fancy way of saying I work with people who are really good at seeming like they're fine until they're not. This is the handbook you never got, whether you were diagnosed last week, decades ago, or you're still in the process of figuring it out. If you've ever felt like everyone else got instructions to life and you didn't, you're in the right place. Before we get started, what I share on this podcast is meant to be informational and educational, but not clinical advice. It's always a good idea to work with your own team of providers for anything specific to you. Nothing here replaces working with a professional who actually knows you and your history. Let's get into it. Have you ever had a day where you felt like you did nothing and still felt completely exhausted? There's actually a really good explanation for that. Today, we're going to talk about energy management. This is one of the frameworks I come back to constantly in my work with autistic adults because it just clicks, gives a nice visual, really easy to understand. And once you understand it, you start to see your energy in a completely different way. I did want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Anna Neff, who does a lot of really important work on this concept. So what I'm sharing today is my own understanding of it and how I use it in practice, kind of how I've adapted it to work with my clients, but definitely want to give credit where credit is due. I'd really encourage you to check out her work, and I'm going to link it down in the show notes for you. Okay, so here's the framework. I want you to think about your energy like a phone battery. So think about that little battery you see in the corner of your phone. Green when you're good, yellow when you're getting low, and red when you're about to completely shut off. Your energy works the same way. You have a battery, things drain it, other things charge it, and your job is to figure out what does that for you specifically, so you can actually manage it instead of just running on empty and wondering why everything feels so hard. So let's talk about what drains the battery first. For a lot of autistic folks, this list is longer than people would expect. And a lot of things on it are things that maybe other people might seem to handle without a second thought. So maybe it doesn't drain their battery as much as it drains yours. And that can make you feel like something's wrong with you when there isn't. It's just your battery is working harder. Think of it like more apps running or something like that. So here are some things that I commonly see drain batteries for autistic folks. Work, even work you enjoy, showing up, being on, managing relationships with colleagues, navigating unspoken expectations, all of that costs energy. Chores, daily tasks, the stuff that just has to get done, like adulting tasks, right? Grocery shopping, cooking, laundry, emails, it adds up. Social situations, this is a big one. Even when socializing with people you love, it can really drain your battery if it requires masking, managing group dynamics, or just being on for an extended period of time. Sensory environments, loud places, crowded spaces, bright lighting, strong smells. Your nervous system is processing all of that constantly, and that processing comes with a cost. Obviously, masking's a big one. Performing neurotypicality, monitoring how you come across, managing your expressions and reactions. This is one of the biggest battery drains for high masking autistic adults, and it's often invisible even to the person doing it. Also, unexpected changes. When the plan changes, when something doesn't go the way you expected, when you have to shift gears quickly, all of that requires extra cognitive resources. Emotional labor, supporting other people, managing conflict, navigating difficult conversations. These all cost energy too. And decision making, deciding what to wear, what to eat, how to respond. All of the decision fatigue really adds up as well. Now, let's talk about things that might charge your battery. And this is where it gets personal because what charges your battery is going to be specific to you, but there are some common ones. Yes, there's rest, real rest, not scrolling, not half watching something while you're also thinking about everything you have to do, actual rest. But one thing I really want to talk about is engaging in special interests and hobbies. This is one of my favorites to talk about because so many autistic adults feel guilty about the time they spend with their interests. But engaging in something you genuinely love is one of the most efficient ways that you can charge your battery. So it's not a waste of time, it's helping you maintain. And it kind of goes back to that saying of like filling up your cup before you can pour into others. Another big one is alone time. For a lot of autistic adults, time alone is when the battery actually gets to rest and recharge without any additional demands on it. And this can even be time alone from your loved ones, your partner, your spouse, your friends. Sometimes just not being perceived at all is what you need. Socializing is a confusing one because it can drain your battery and it can charge it, sometimes both at the same time. Certain kinds of socializing, like one on one time with someone safe, low pressure, no masking required, can help you recharge your battery, but in small doses. Sensory comfort is another big one, and that's totally dependent on what your specific version of this is. It could be a weighted blanket, it could be a specific playlist, a familiar environment. It might be going in your room, pulling the covers over your head in the dark and having no sounds whatsoever on. Giving your nervous system something safe and predictable to settle into. Routines, having a predictable structure to your day reduces the cognitive load of constant decision making, which frees up battery for everything else. And sometimes taking the time to plan out your day tomorrow or plan out next week can really be regulating and help you manage your energy levels. Now, like I mentioned before, here's the part I really want you to hear because I think it's the most important and most overlooked piece of this framework. Some things do both. Socializing is obviously the best example. Spending time with the right person in the right context might charge your battery, but spending time in a big group or with someone who requires a lot of emotional labor might drain it significantly. It's not that socializing is good or bad for you. It's about which kind, with who, for how long, what do those circumstances look like? So, when you're mapping out your own energy, it's worth getting really specific. Not just socializing drains me, but one on one time with my best friend charges me, but family gatherings wipe me out for 2 days. The more specific you can get, the more useful this framework becomes. And the last thing I want to say about this, and I really cannot stress this enough, you need a little bit of battery left in order to recharge. So think about this like your phone again. If you let it completely die, it takes a really long time after you plug it in to like boot back up and actually start working again. But if you leave it with 10% battery, it charges a lot faster. This is something I talk about with clients all the time. When your battery hits zero, the things that would normally charge you, your hobbies, your rest, routines, special interests, they become really hard to access. You need a little bit of energy to get up and start engaging with your special interest. If you're at zero, you can't just get up and do it. So obviously, the goal is not to run your battery all the way down and then try to fill it back up. The goal is to conserve enough energy that you can actually engage with those things that charge you before you hit empty. This is why these things are so important. They're not luxuries. They have to be built into your routine. They're non-negotiable. Protecting a little bit of your battery so you have enough to keep going is one of the most important skills that I teach. So here's your takeaway from today. This week, I want you to start mapping out your own battery. Just start noticing what costs you energy, what restores it, what does both. You don't have to have it all figured out right away. Just start paying attention and taking notes. And if you're already running on empty right now, that's okay. Start small. Find one thing that charges your battery, even just the smallest bit, and protect time and space to do it. And it's okay if that one's just rest this time, but be intentional about how you're resting. Like I said before, don't have the TV on in the background. Don't be scrolling on your phone. Genuinely rest because you need enough charge to actually live your life and not just get through it. That's all for today's episode. If anything we talked about today resonated with you and you're wondering whether working together might be a good fit, I do offer virtual therapy and formal autism assessments for adults in 43 SIPAC states. All the details are linked down in the show notes. If you want more content like this between episodes, come find me on Instagram at dr.selena.justice. I post there pretty much daily, and it's a good place to get to know me and the work I do. You can find links to my Instagram as well as any products I may have mentioned down in the show notes as well. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe wherever you're listening, leave a review, or share it with a friend. That way we can help more people find the show. Until next time.